It all started with a joke. 4 harmless words. Refs couldn't stop us. That's what Clark typed in the comments of an Instagram post showing her teammates celebrating after a huge playoff win. Nothing malicious, nothing obscene, nothing out of line. Just a cheeky observation reflecting what fans had been shouting all season long. The Fever had pushed past the whistles, past the blown calls, past the obstacles, and come out on top. And yet the league decided those 4 words were a crime. Caitlin Clark was fined $200 for posting them. Let that sink in. A league that has looked the other way while Clark absorbed brutal fouls all season. A league that has allowed opponents to shove her, hack her, and drop her to the floor without consequence. A league that has ignored calls so blatant they made highlight reels on social media. That same league suddenly grew a spine over an Instagram joke. They couldn't muster the courage to police cheap shots on the floor, but they had all the time in the world to police Caitlin Clark's comments. The hypocrisy couldn't be louder. And it's no wonder Sophie Cunningham, one of the few players bold enough to speak the truth, has been calling it out. She knows exactly how the game is played. The moment you criticize the referees, on TV, in interviews, or even online, you're marked. Cunningham joked about it, saying Kathy Engelbert herself would peek around the corner if you so much as whispered the word refs in the shower. And she's right. Because instead of fixing the officiating, the league fines players for pointing out the obvious. But here's what makes the situation even more absurd. Caitlin Clark hasn't even been playing. She's been sidelined since July with a groin injury, her season cut short after just 13 games. She's been forced to watch from the sidelines while her teammates claw their way deeper into the postseason than anyone expected. The Fever stunned the Las Vegas Aces in Game 1 of the semifinals, delivering an 89-73 blowout that shook the league to its core. It should have been a celebration. A marketing dream. A story to amplify women's basketball. Instead, what did the WNBA focus on? A $200 fine for Clark's Instagram comment, "It's laughable." No one believes the money matters. Clark's WNBA salary might hover around $80,000, but her endorsements are worth millions. Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, the brands know who the face of women's sports is. $200 to her is less than a drop in the bucket. It's not the money. It's the message. The league wanted to remind her who's in charge. They wanted to muzzle her voice. But in doing so, they only exposed themselves. Clark's response said it all. She posted the screenshot of the offensive comment on Twitter, added, "Got fined $200 for this LOL," and threw in some laughing emojis. She even promised the Fever bench would be louder in the next game. That's leadership. That's confidence. That's the kind of authenticity fans rally around. Clark didn't just take the fine in stride, she flipped it into fuel. She turned the league's pettiness into a rallying cry for her team. And the fans? They weren't fooled either. They saw exactly what this was. A desperate attempt to silence the only voice in the league brave enough to say out loud what everyone already knows. The officiating has been a disaster. The physicality is out of control. Freedom of movement, the very principle basketball is supposed to protect, has disappeared. Players are being tackled on cuts, shoved on screens, and hammered at the rim, yet the whistles never come. Coaches across the league, from Indiana's Stephanie White to even Vegas's Becky Hammond, have admitted it's a problem. And instead of fixing it, the WNBA is fining Caitlin Clark for saying, "Refs couldn't stop us." The optics are humiliating. On one side, Aja Wilson is crowned MVP for the 4th time, showered with praise as the face of the league. On the other, Caitlin Clark, the player who fills arenas, breaks TV ratings, and drives merchandise sales, is punished for 4 harmless words. That's not leadership. That's a fragile PR machine trying to control the narrative. And let's be clear, this isn't just about Clark. It's about what kind of league the WNBA wants to be. Does it want to be a serious professional sports league, one that embraces criticism, learns from it, and grows stronger? Or does it want to be a fragile echo chamber that silences its stars, ignores its flaws, and doubles down on control? Right now, under Engelbert's leadership, the WNBA is choosing the latter. And it's a choice that risks everything. Because here's the truth. Clark didn't hurt the league by posting that comment. She helped it. She gave fans a voice. She said what they were already thinking. And by punishing her, the league only made her more relatable, more beloved, and more untouchable in the eyes of the public. The fine backfired spectacularly. Instead of making an example out of her, they turned her into a symbol of resistance. Meanwhile, her team has been doing what no one thought possible. The Fever, playing without their superstar, have clawed their way to the semifinals for the first time since 2015. They took down the higher-seeded Atlanta Dream in a nail-biting series, then walked into Vegas and smacked the defending champions in Game 1. Kelsey Mitchell erupted for 34 points, nearly breaking the franchise playoff scoring record. Aaliyah Boston dominated the paint. Lexi Hull gutted it out through injury. Odyssey Sims poured in clutch baskets. This is the definition of resilience. And instead of celebrating it, the league found a way to overshadow it with pettiness. Think about how tone-deaf that is. At the very moment when women's basketball had the chance to shine, when the underdog fever were capturing headlines and proving their doubters wrong, the WNBA managed to step all over its own momentum. They punished the one player who has done more for their visibility than anyone else in history. And for what? A comment on Instagram, the irony is brutal. Clark says refs couldn't stop us. Then her teammates go out and prove her right by dismantling the Aces in their own building. If the WNBA had any sense, they would have packaged that into a marketing campaign. They would have said, look at this team. Look at this star. Look at this story. Instead, they handed the spotlight to a $200 fine. This is why so many fans feel the league is sabotaging itself. It prioritizes authority over growth. It values control over progress. And it keeps squandering the very momentum Clark has created. Every time the league gets a chance to build, it tears itself down. Every time it could amplify the stars, it silences them instead. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's a cultural force. Her presence alone has dragged the WNBA into mainstream relevance. Networks are begging for her games. Ticket sales have skyrocketed. Merchandise is flying off the shelves. And instead of embracing her, the league is punishing her. It's madness. Absolute madness, and that's the real tragedy. Because this playoff run, this fever story should be the headline. 6 players sidelined with injuries. Their superstar out since July. And still they fight. Still they win. Still they prove the doubters wrong. That's what the league should be promoting. That's what fans should be talking about. But instead, here we are discussing a $200 fine. The message is loud and clear. Under Engelbert, the WNBA values control more than accountability. They'd rather fine Caitlin Clark for a joke than fix officiating that everyone knows is broken. They'd rather silence the players than listen to them. And they'd rather jeopardize the league's future than admit its flaws. But the fans aren't blind. The players aren't blind. And the media isn't blind. Everyone sees it. And as long as Caitlin Clark keeps standing tall, keeps laughing off the fines, and keeps supporting her team with authenticity and grit, she'll keep winning, on and off the court. And the WNBA will keep proving her right. So here's the question. How many more chances will this league waste? How many more times will it punish the messenger while ignoring the message? Because if the WNBA truly wants to thrive, it won't be by silencing Caitlin Clark. It'll be by finally listening to her. Let us know down in the comments below what you think of the WNBA officiating. Do you think the league crossed a line with this fine? Should players be punished for speaking the truth? Drop your thoughts, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on so you never miss a moment. Click the video on the screen and we'll see you in the next one.